My effort moment was battling through depression for about 18 months, a few years ago, literally. I was a signed artist. I was signed with RCA at the time, battling with depression for the first time in my life, period. Bad depression. I was suicidal, you know. I literally was contemplating killing myself. It's weird to even talk about it, but there was a time where I didn't love myself because I felt like I was one person. I was one person in my mind, but I was another person in real life. And I looked at other people, and they became my standard for what I needed to get to in terms of this level or this level in order to love myself. And I really struggled with that. I would put so much pressure on myself to be perfect, and of course I'm not perfect. So anytime I would fall short, it would just, it would upset me and disappoint me. I also had some traumatic experiences, earlier in my life that I realized, like, oh man, I never dealt with this stuff, because we don't go see therapists where I'm from. That ain't what real men do. That's not how we built. And I realized that I had all this stuff bottled up, and I wouldn't ask someone who's renting an apartment tips on how to buy a house, and that's what I was doing. Is I was asking a lot of advice from people about how to deal with this trauma that I have experienced as a younger man, and just this pain that I had. And it was people who weren't qualified to speak on it, but because they were accessible and they were my friends, I would just listen to their advice. Because that's one thing about people. You ask their opinion, or they're gonna give you an opinion, even if they're not qualified to speak on it. So I learned that was actually my fault for asking the wrong people to be experts on something that they couldn't relate to. And just depression, man. And my effing moment was, all right, bro, either you're gonna kill yourself, either it's just gonna end, either all this stuff is gonna just go away, or you're gonna stop contemplating that, thinking about that stuff. You're not gonna quit being a rapper, and you're gonna do it. And today will be the first day of the rest of my life and the rest of my career. And when I thought about it like that, like, wait, I get a brand new start every day. God wakes me up. Like I'm alive. I'm breathing. Yesterday is done and tomorrow hasn't come. So win today. That became my motto. Bro, when I say I really was struggling with depression, it was bad. Like, I literally wanted to kill myself. I contemplated how, you know what I'm saying? And when I decided that I wanted to still live, I took several bold steps that I had never taken. One, I did go and get, professional counseling and see a therapist. That was very uncomfortable for me at first, but it was a great decision. Secondly, I had to take my relationship with God even more serious than ever, because it's easy to love God and praise God when things are going right for you, but the true measure of a man is, how you handle yourself in times of adversity. And I think the true measure of our faith is, do we only call on God when things are going good or when things are going bad? Or is it just like, God, I'm never hanging this phone up. The line is always open regardless of what's happening. And I had to challenge myself to continue that relationship with God, even more than ever, So yeah, I made it. And it's just like a soldier who goes to war and they get shot or something like that, and they have what's called war wounds, and every time you look at those scars, you just remember, and you just like, man, that stuff, I remember when that bullet hit me, how that felt when I was in Afghanistan. And that's how I feel every day, because I'm not able to separate myself from my thoughts. Everything that's inside my brain, it lives there and it sits there. So there's things that I see every day. Part of this industry I'm in, the industry itself is part of what drove me into a very depressed state. So just being in this industry, I'm always able to see my war wounds. There's certain things that I could watch on YouTube, or there's a certain time in my life, certain years where I look back at the music I was making or my appearances on different shows, and I'm just like, boy, I know where I was at mentally during that time. And it's tough, it's tough watching it. So it lets me know that those scars are real, but I'm still a star despite all that, like I'm shining through all that stuff. So despite the scars, despite whatever happened, look at me, I'm shining, I'm here, I'm smiling, you know what I mean? So I think I started smiling extra bright after I got through the depression, because I always was a lighthearted, fun-loving dude, but the way I smiled once I realized, like, man, I just defeated this huge Goliath in my life. the way I smile now is just, it's on a whole nother level because it's like I know I'm a star, you know?